This review is of the DIYPC Silence BK Window ATX case. And let's see, did I miss anything? Black dual USB 3.0 ATX mid-tower silent computer case. It originally comes with 3 white fans, 2 120s in the front and a 120 in the rear. And they sell it at mydiypcusa.com, at least in my country anyways. It also has a fan controller originally, although I don't have the fan controller for this device, for the fans, because this was given to me secondhand for my niece. And let's see, you can use water cooling on the top or front. It also comes with some nice features on the I/O panel on the front here. We've got an SD and micro SD card reader, and all of these have rubber covers on them, so you can keep them clear of dirt and debris if you're not using them, which is a really nice feature that I think is not very common. 2 USB 3.0A ports. And then we've got, I think these are also USB. I think these are probably 2.0. Hopefully not 1.0. And then we've got our microphone and speaker ports. And we've got the LED light for storage activity. And of course the power button. And I guess that, I'm not sure what that is, if that's reset or what that is. Also, if we look inside the front, you think it's a solid surface. However, you can open it up, and it's a very sturdy front. And they have insulated this with a cloth material, a woven cloth material, which I assume is synthetic, to help deaden noise. My complaint with this is that, of course, the ventilation is very restricted on this, because the only ventilation points are here and here on the sides. So it goes through these vents on the sides and here through this, which gives you access, and you can see you could use 120s or 140s in the front. And let's see. Oh, and there are the 2 3.5-inch bays, or was it 5.5? And also there are fan speed controls here for the front fans. The person who gave it to me said that he couldn't get them to work, so I don't know for sure. And of course on top there's also this ventilation area, and you can see that actually the space on top here is really phenomenally large. I mean, we got potentially a very wide radiator could be placed in there. Maybe some 180s. I'm not sure. And, you know, that to help filter air if you're going to pull in air there. Of course, it's not needed if you're going to exhaust. And it has a plastic window in it, still covered. On the bottom, there's nothing much remarkable aside from the filter for the power supply. And that's I don't know how effective that's going to be. It seems to fit in there pretty nicely, not like my Corsair, which has a poorly designed selection for that. Now, I believe that there is a nope, it's not. And then we've got these interesting legs, these very solid, thick legs, which kind of surprised me when I saw them. But hey, at least you know they're not going to break off. All right, and then the back side is. And the back side is a solid side, and as you'll see in a few minutes, the inside of this is also covered with that fabric material. The side panels are held in place with thumb screws, and you can get one 120 millimeter fan on the rear. Oh, by the way, the DVD player and the fans that are in here are not the originals, and I'm not even sure that these are the originals, to be quite honest with you. They could very well be replacements for the originals, because this is judging by what I've seen of this, it seems to me that this is an inexpensive product of China. It says made in China there. So yeah, and this is the port for the I/O on the back for the motherboard, and it comes with this plate. There is also, if you don't want to use that bay, there are covers for the bays, so that's nice. And all of the slot covers are removable and reusable instead of being built into the metal, and that's good. There's pretty good depth on the power supply area, so you should be able to fit even a larger one in there. And as you can see, there's a dual hard drive bay inside there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the off side here, or the rear. So again, you can see the insulation to deaden the noise some, and our power and I/O cables, USB, all that other good stuff that you can use there. Plus, we've got some more over here. Oh, lovely! This originally must have had had Molex fans in it, would be my guess, because this is a Molex cable for the fans. But this is all set up with a combination of open standard PWM for the power, and they're all daisy chained together. And then I think this is a SM connector, which Leon Lee uses, and these are actually Fantex though, so you do need to either have adapters, or you need to have the correct kind of fan controllers to run these, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. That's going to present a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, it's there's very minimal cable management. As you can see, we've got these things like this that you can use with twist ties. But aside from that, there's really not much going on with that. I'm pretty sure the reason you couldn't get the fan switches working is because this cable has to be used, and thus it would be connected to the Molex. And so I could actually, oh, and these are 3-pin connector, actually 2-pin connectors. Wow. Okay. So the original fan cabling only came with 2-pin connectors in it. So you could plug a 3-pin in there, but it's not going to have the tachometer signal on these. Let's see if it's all 3 like that. 1, 2, 3, and there's the 4th one. Yeah. That's fan number 1, so if any would have an extra pin, it would be this one, and it doesn't. So unfortunately, the case originally came with DC fans that have no easy way to moderate the revolutions per minute. So the fan switches in there, we're doing it through some kind of a preset based on the fans that came with it. Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Ow. And now you can see inside here.
It is important to note that if you're going to put in the motherboard, make sure that if there are any fans, especially on the top, remove those fans first, because it is very difficult to get a motherboard in there if the fans are in place. There's just not a lot of space. You can get it in, but it is, there's a certain amount of risk involved that you could damage something by accident. So make sure not to allow that to happen. Take the fans out, install the motherboard, put them back in.
You have a nice open space for accessing the motherboard from the rear, and 7 ports. Looks like this is designed for just, well, no, maybe not just ATX. Not eATX for sure. Looks like you can do micro ATX and ITX as possibly as well. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really familiar with the layout for which one is which, but I'm pretty sure this is micro ATX. And oh, I forgot that right here there is a place where you could install a SATA drive or something like that on the back. It doesn't, but I don't have the thumb screw for it. I don't know if it came with it or if the person who sent this to me forgot to include that. The power supply shroud for the power supply area is pretty basic. And the only good thing about this, I'm not really happy with this configuration for the fans, because the only options for the fans, as you can see, are just those 2 positions. And this bottom one is partially obscured by the power supply shroud or cover. And that means, a good portion of that wind is not going to be helping the graphics card if there is one. It's also not, and if you have the hard drive bays filled up, it's going to kind of help cool off the hard drives. But really, this is not an ideal configuration, in my opinion. Now, I do see that you can slide these up some, so I'm probably going to loosen these up and bring them up higher. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the Fantex fans that are in here. I'm not even sure which Fantex fans those are, or if I'm going to swap them out for something else. These are RGB fans, though. I'm not sure if they're ARGB, sorry. They are ARGB fans. All right. I guess that's pretty much it. So let's take a look underneath the shroud now. And we can see we've got a couple of bays there. Unlike the Zalman that I reviewed a little while ago, it looks like these trays for the hard drives aren't complete crap. The Zalman ones were like horrible. They were warped and they wouldn't stay in their slots. And these are actually made of firmer, still flexible, but firmer plastic than on that Zalman i4 that I reviewed. So they are much preferred over what Zalman put into that i4. Let's see. So yeah, again, you can see how much space there is for a power supply in here.
I need to add here very quickly that at least with the power supply that I'm putting in there, which is an EVGA 850 watt gold GT or GQ, I forget. It doesn't sit on the bottom of the power supply area. It actually is held above that area a little bit by the screws. So just be aware of that. You can't put anything under it except for like maybe at the 4 corners. You could maybe put some kind of rubber legs or something like that, but you can't put a piece of cardboard down there because then you'd be blocking the intake for the fan that cools down the power supply.
So it is a sturdy case. Well, that's a definite plus. This is not a case you could sit on. Well, I wouldn't have somebody heavy sit on it, but if you're relatively light, you could probably sit on it and it probably wouldn't break. Although I'm not too confident about that. This area is okay, but you get over to here, in this area, it's not so good. I do really like this interface here, but there's no USB-C. And I really don't see the point of having USB 2.0 anywhere. But at least there are 4 ports and the card reader and this and yeah. So is it amazing? No. It is under $100. I looked and on their website, on the DIYPC website, I think it was 80 some dollars. So I think, aside from the crap fans and certain of the shortcomings, I think it's not bad. Can you get a better case? Yes, and if you need a case that offers the ability to install optical drives and stuff, this is an excellent option. It also, you can do hard drive support, but this is an older model. And if you're looking for something very modern, or if you want something with really great airflow, this is not going to be a good choice. You might be able to slip in a vertically mounted graphics card if you have it sitting on top of the power supply on a mount that uses magnets on top of there, which I have got right there in mine. But otherwise, I think it's this is not a performance case in my opinion. Then again, the Zalman i4 and the really long named CompC Kingdom Classico Storage Master, neither of them were performance either, although I would say that they're better than this one in terms of airflow. But if you're looking for quiet, it's going to be a decent choice. I'm not a fan at all of this, though. That definitely is, for me, not acceptable. So if you are like somebody doing heavy-duty creative work, AI work, something like that, or you're doing really intensive gaming that's very demanding, this is probably not a good choice for you. But if you're like a casual user and you're not doing intense creative work, then this should be okay. But I'll give this, I'll give it a 7. It really has some strong pros and some strong cons, though. So, thanks for watching, and hope you have a great day. I just thought you'd like to see first the information about the case, the DIYPC Silence BK window with a card reader in it. And this one originally had its own fans and a fan controller, but those were swapped for some Fantecs that don't have a controller. So I'm not going to talk about those. But here is all the information about what this should have. I did forget to mention one thing about this case. If you're not going to be using the top for exhaust, which is normally what it's used for, you have 2 plates that you can put on there to cover up the top area. Now you will have to remove this filter, but since it's magnetic, you can just take it off and slap it on the back where nobody's probably going to notice it. And then these have clips that attach to holes in the surface here. So you just put them in place like that, push them down. This is a more, I think it's kind of a rare solution, but it's a more elegant solution than, say, putting a piece of paperboard or cardboard over there. So yeah, just wanted to add that.